Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn, and I am that Shawn. There is no other replacement. Believe me, I think it'd be tough to for them to get the hair. All right, so we have a big show planned. So lots to do, always lots to say, but we don't even touch on a fraction of some of the things that I just want to tell you. You know, I think it's one of those things that, for me, the older I've gotten, you know, I only have, you know, one son who's long since grown up, and so he hasn't even heard so many of the stories in my life that have occurred. Mostly in my adult life, like 30s and 40s, when, you know, after the first divorce, you just want to throw caution to the wind. I 8 months, took 4 months off of work, traveled the world, went down in all kinds of mines, all kinds of scary situations. It was one of those things that, you know, I don't know, I in a way put myself first, you know. I didn't think about, you know, I said, you know, my son, he'll be well taken care of, you know, so it was really healthy, because I got married, I think, too young, at 23. So I explored the world. In doing so, I got to go down opal mines in Lightning Ridge. I got to, you know, go to the jade fields in New Zealand. I got to explore Andalusia in Spain. I got to go all over Mexico, which I wouldn't go there now. And I mean interior portions where we never heard another English word spoken. I speak enough Spanish to you know, to have gotten us through. And also, it is always good to know a few words of the native language. And if you do that and use it around them, they are much less inclined, if not don't, talk behind your back. But like some of the more difficult languages in the world, like some of the Vietnamese languages, Cambodian, Laotian, they pretty much know. And I know that, like, you know, where you run across them, might run across them and hear the language, is like, wow, I can't understand, there's no way I'm going to understand that. But the Romance languages, you know, Italian, French, Spanish, they are much easier to understand and pick up. So I find useful words, doesn't take many, but speak some of the local language, and earns their respect, for one thing. And even if you try, and then, you know, they may come out and speak English, but even when they do, and I know they do, it doesn't matter. I always brush up on my Spanish when I can, because other than that, you know, yeah, don't use it, you lose it. So same thing when it comes to knowledge of gems and minerals. And what we try to do in this show is bring you some very cool things you can buy, but you get the knowledge along with them. Knowledge beforehand from all of you that write in and participate in the commentary, and allows a lot of other people to get to hear that. And there's a lot of knowledge in those comments, as so many of you have noticed yourself, and I know I have. I've learned a lot, and that's always cool. I always like to be challenged, and I always like to learn something new. So I'll tell you what, I could ramble on, but let's get started with the comments. Let's get started with the trivia. Okay, so at the end of every show, for those of you kind of joining in and don't know the generalized format, even though we're allowed to do anything, at the end of each show, I usually ask 2 questions or another form of trivia. And then the following week, you know, you write in to the comment section of the show and you answer those questions, and then, you know, your odds are very high that you're going to win something, and win something else not very much longer and all, because, you know, it's a smaller, there's a lot of people that listen and love to watch the show, and love the comments, but don't always participate themselves in the comments, which is fine, or the trivia, which is perfectly fine. Just raises everyone else's odds of winning. So, and again, like I said the other week, you don't win a little 3mm 10-point stone. Oftentimes there is a new phrase coined, which was trivia envy, for when I give away something really cool. And there's only one of it. You can't even buy it. And that's why I do that. Sometimes really cool stuff, when I know it's just going to create, one person will get it and no one else will, it's like, all right, well, better than take money for something that a lot of other people want, I'd rather just give it away and make that person not feel guilty. Put it on me for assigning or letting, fate award the gift to someone and take it out of my hands as well in the prize. Okay, so let's get going. 2 questions were from last week's show, but they don't always have to be from the week show. They can be from past shows as well. And actually, I'm thinking today's trivia, but doesn't mean you don't pay attention or take notes. Yeah, and by the way, with the trivia, you can take notes, but when it comes to, if you participate in the trivia, you can't go back and rewind the show to get the answers. But as soon as you send the answers in, or as soon as you do answer, then you rewind the show and watch it all kinds of times. But that's simple rules. Take notes all you want. You can use the notes all you want. But I'm thinking today's trivia, if you see me keep looking over here, is because I brought in 3 different mineral specimens. And I may do another identification trivia. So I'll be thinking about that. All right. Last week, first question was, what name is the standard word used in the industry for fossilized dinosaur dung, And that question was used because of the coprolites, which happens to be the answer. The answer is a coprolite. A coprolite is used, doesn't matter what species. Last week's happened to be turtle coprolite. So you would say, yeah, you want to buy a turtle coprolite. But it's funny, a lot of people don't know that word. Even though you see me say it used, they don't associate the two or don't think it's the legit thing, but it is. And it's really fascinating how they are preserved for so long. The second question was, name the reflective inclusions in sunstone from Oregon and sunstone from India, respectively. Answers would be, from Oregon, it's copper, and from India, it's hematite inclusions. Now, great mention by Miss Gabby, because she actually happens to be the first comment, and then I will answer something she referred to. All right. Starting with the comments, we have from Miss Gabby. Hello, everyone. I couldn't believe it, Shawn, when you said Lori works at Betty's Country Store, which I know this is a national program, but we are in Atlanta, Georgia. I think north of Atlanta. That's where I live, well north of Atlanta. And my son and I and his mom, we all lived in White County, which is up in the mountains, and the town is called Helen, which is a little itty-bitty town except during tourist season. So my son's mom went on and retired from teaching special education at White County for decades. And, so I lived there for years. Then I moved down to Forsyth County. That was closer between my business and my son. And so in Helen, there's a country store. And if you go to Helen, you must go to the country store because it is the coolest, quaintest, has the neatest items, all right? And it's in this, neat setting right on the Chattahoochee River, right close up to it. So, okay, the thing about it is my son's mom, retired, special education, mind you, all 4 areas, has, in that realm, has the patience of the world. But when you get her home, well, God love her. She made a wonderful mom. And she and I, of course, have always got along. So that for her to retire from teaching a difficult job was never enough. She actually works full time as a manager of Betty's Country Store. And so she is good friends and actually traveled to Germany together, the owner, to see my son. So yeah, it's funny. I think I'm the only one that didn't work there, she remarried, so he worked there for extra security and parking in the summer. My son worked there all through his teen years as, stocking the shelves and whatnot. And my sister, who passed away a couple years ago, a year and a half ago, my sister worked as the baker in the bakery. So, Betty's Country Store, well tied to that place. But if you ever get along into the mountains of North Georgia, pretty much you will go through Helen. There's also a crossroads there. It's like one way into town, one way out, and it's the gateway to North Georgia mountains. But so that's what she is saying. Lots of interesting things and delicious food. So she says, Miss Gabby, can't wait. Okay, gang. She said, lots of interesting and delicious food. I hate to think the next time I'm in Helen, I won't be looking her up. Can't wait. Make sure you do. You will, Lori, do not forget her. She is very personable. I always said she never knew a stranger. Bad thing is, if we went out to dinner, now this is in our 20s, went out to dinner, we lived in Helen at the time, small town, right? There was always someone she knew, and I could never have a moment just eating dinner with her. Oh no, it was come on over here, sit down, pull up a chair. And there was everywhere we went, she knew. She was in the school system and she was just one of those people. Me, a little different. Okay, so, okay, gang, let me know in next week's comments if there's anything you want me to ask her about our professor. Oh, yes, definitely my son's mom has probably got lots of stories she could tell. I have no doubt. My trivia answers are coprolite and copper in the Oregon sunstone and hematite in the sunstone from India. So did I understand correctly that the Indian sunstone is not a feldspar? I have to admit, I would have answered that question incorrectly. No, you would have been correct. Indian sunstone is, which has the hematite, is within a feldspar. Now, I couldn't expand on my thoughts, so I'm glad, Miss Gabby, that you actually heard and picked that portion of my statement out because for clarification, because it absolutely did need clarifying, but where I was going was into a diatribe, because I was going to start talking about silicious feldspar and how feldspars, as part of their chemical makeup, is a silicate, aluminum, silicon, oxygen, and then I was going to relate it to what's called red hematoid quartzite. Oh, it was going to be one of Shawn's long collegiate answers, and so in my mind, I just kind of cut it short. So to answer Miss Gabby's very astute notice, yeah, they're pretty much feldspars that the hematite, generally known as sunstone, is found in India, and copper. Here is the difference, though, but it's still within the feldspar family. remember, there's different feldspars just like there is different garnets, and it all has to do with the particular, the kind of the end formula of the molecule is the same. It's the beginning portion that changes. So for an idea, labradorite and Oregon copper sunstone are both a plagioclase feldspar. Indian feldspar is a microcline or an orthoclase feldspar. So they are of different feldspars, which leads to different hardnesses, and also you can get a blend, kind of like in some of the jades. You can get a silica infusion, so to speak, into into the rough, and get a lot of different looks in the Indian material. The Oregon material, it is all the different looks that it have been encountered and notated, and there's not much less else to discover. But with the hematite in the Indian material, well, if you start looking up hematite, it is an amazing material. Here is the best way to ever know if you have a hematite. There's two things that you can do. And one of them, you would think, hematite, its chemical composition. Now remember, I asked a trivia question, what was the chemical composition a long time ago of corundum, which is the ruby and sapphire mineral, and Al2O3, meaning 2 atoms of aluminum, 3 of oxygen. Well, hematite is Fe2O3. So it is iron, just iron replacing the aluminum, and you have hematite. What different properties, huh? So the way to tell it is if you have a streak plate. What's a streak plate? A streak plate is unglazed porcelain tile, pretty much a ceramic tile. You can use the back, the white, right? Hematite will always, when you rub it along that plate lightly, will leave behind a red streak. Irregardless if it's a bright silvery look, it will leave behind a red streak. If there's no red streak, it is not hematite. Here's the other tell. If it's magnetic. If it's magnetic, remember, hematite produces 70%. Hematite is the primary iron ore in the world. Producing 70% of the world's iron is mined from hematite. Now we can get into the formation on the ocean floor and all kinds, and created actually by cyanobacteria and all this other neat stuff, but that's be for another day. Over time, hematite ended up creating what they called the hematite banded layers in the earth, where you just have incredible banding with hematite alternating with other minerals. But so those are the ways, two ways to tell hematite. This chemical formula, exactly like ruby and sapphire, except substituting out iron for the aluminum, and then it is not magnetic. Nope. You would think that almost any iron is. We won't get into the reasons why that it is a non-magnetic material. It has to do with the, of course, the formula and the electrons and whatnot. But just know that if you have a piece and all of a sudden it sticks to the magnet, or it doesn't streak red, then it is not, and you may have magnetite, something like that. All right, so to just expound on what Miss Gabby said, yes, just go along with that both are feldspars. There is there's not like copperized quartzite or anything like that, but in the world of hematite, Remember, copper is just an element, straight up element, not with anything, and that is what is creating the reflections in the Oregon sunstone. But what's creating those reflections is hematite, and hematite is naturally red in its pure formula. Just sometimes it's so saturated that it actually looks dark. So hematite isn't just an element, it is a mineral. It is made up of 2 elements. 70% of the weight of a piece of hematite is going to be iron. And the rest is oxygen in the molecule. Oddly enough, yeah, oxygen has weight. And then again, the amount of iron produced in the world by hematite mining is 70% as well. So hematite is a huge mineral to the iron industry. And all of us can't get by without mining hematite. So, all right, those are the answers. Let's quickly go through these. We have Miss Cindy, another Cindy. Didn't say where she was from, but we are glad to have you and to join, that you joined. And Miss Other Cindy, your answer was great. Coprolite and copper, and we were just looking for one more. We were looking for the hematite answer. So well done on, and welcome to the group, and we hope you contribute every week. Miss Cindy in Pennsylvania says, hello, Rock family. Monday with my people. All is well. Welcome, Mr. Vanya from the Netherlands. Thank you so much for the trivia prize of the Salon Sapphire parcel. I hadn't completed watching the show when my husband said the mail was on the counter. I was busy, so it was later I walked out to find a GSN box. Tell the shipping guys they do not have to make my boxes child-proof. LOL, they're so well sealed. The sapphires are a wish list item I can cross off now. And it was free. So, Miss Other Cindy, see, you know, that was the trivia gift, was an amazing parcel of Salon sapphire crystals. So, so cool stuff. Got 2 of the 3 items I wanted this week, the Moroccan Vanadinite and the Madagascar Neon Blue Apatites. Missed the Indian Sunstone, speaking of, I know. And it was a great shape, which you'll find out more about that in a bit. Trivia, Coprolite, Oregon Sunstone Copper, Indian Sunstone Hematite. See everybody next week. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. This week it's the Cooper Petey Opalized Clamshell for Fave of the Week. Mine too. And you know what? I actually had that clamshell for quite some time before I decided to get it wet. One day I just had water. I was looking at some other opals and said, oh, well, let me just put some water on this. All of a sudden I saw all the color that was in it. It's like, oh, wow. And I did not go up on the price when I really should have. So we'll see if anybody takes advantage of it, but they certainly should. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. Hi, Professor Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Lively show. Nice to see you got your mojo back. Dino poop is the best thing to attract young kids to rocks, since they love anything gross. It grabs their attention and opens a discussion about what and why. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. They're real kid catchers. This brings to mind some pyretized cave bear poop I bought at a museum shop back in the 50s. It was sold under the wonderful trademark name Endangered Feces. Oh, that's awesome. What a great name. Endangered Feces. Wow. Yeah, gotta hand it to him. Very clever. Miss Barbara, what are you doing in rock shops in the 60s? Wow, how fortunate for you if you were able to get some items then that would cost either a fortune or are unavailable in the market now. Wow. I mean, I started young, but even starting at 11, it put me at in the year 1972. When I entered the ability to buy something or go into a rock shop. But I was just a child then. To get to go to the markets in the 50s and 60s, wow, you know? Let's see. Oh, she goes on to say, Victor Tuslakov was the cutter who fashioned the Lion of Marilani, who we saw last week, which was the largest, of course, sapphire ever faceted and mined. That was just beautiful, beautiful quality and color. He created a model of the square cushion out of the diamond Simlet YAG, and YAG stands for Yttrium Aluminum Garnet, YAG. I couldn't remember. I said that, of course, that he did create and make did a trial run beforehand, but I couldn't remember what the material was that he used. Then adjusted his angles for Savarite's RI, meaning refractive index, and cut the actual stone. There are several videos on YouTube about Mr. Tuslakov, including his presentation at GIA Bangkok, where he explains his art of precision cutting. Yep, there's an art to it. It's called patience. And yeah, there is an art. As to the trivia, coprolites are fossilized dung. Oregon sunstone feldspar contains copper spangles, while Indian is silica, or mostly, I guess, we'll use feldspar with hematite. But actually, of course, if you look up feldspar, a big part of its chemical formula is silicate and silicon. The different base material explains their hardness difference, even though they can look so much alike. Thanks. Be well all. Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. And that's a difference you'll notice in cutting the two, is I find Oregon sunstone cuts totally different and polishes totally different. And of course it would. You're talking about pure element of copper versus Fe2O3. Mr. Anthony says, hello, great show. Mr. Anthony, of course, from Massachusetts. Tells me that he is, so the picture I saw, that he is, what, 5 years older than I am. Wow, I wouldn't have guessed it. You know, he has, Mr. Anthony of our group, he's got a beard somewhat similar to mine, but no hair. I don't know if it's by choice or maybe, you know, that was just a better look, but he looks younger than I. He really looks good, so rock on. Kind of you to say I look younger, but not so. You wear it well, my friend. Well, so do you. Observation. I acquired a good amount of rough sunstone over the years with hematite, most from you. When cut in the bullet shape, it seems to reflect much brighter than a regular oval cab, as I noticed the bullet piece you showcased. That is exactly correct. And if you can actually align it the way you're cutting it to align with the similar angle that all the hematite will reflect that, then you can really create some neat optical looks as you turn it as well. Trivia, dino dung, alternate name, coprolite, sunstones, reflective inclusions from Oregon is copper, Indian is hematite. Eyes down, Mr. Anthony. Miss Kathleen chimes in and says, hello, Shawn and fellow rock family. It is great to see you. Definitely seem to be feeling better this week. It is also great news that they are finally getting started on fixing your house again. I got the floors put down. The floors finally done. But there's so much left, so yeah. I myself am waiting on my perfect opal to add to my collection. The opal you showed a few weeks ago was tempting, but it just had too much red in it for me. I personally want a blue, green, purple one like you described. Even though the red is more desirable in the market, it just isn't to me. Thanks for a great show, and I'm looking forward to next week. I'll bet you are. I bet you are. Get your item. How cool. And that's great about the opal. Yeah, that's great. Trivia. Coprolite in Oregon natural copper is a feldspar, Indian hematite in a quartz feldspar material. And again, the only thing you have to remember is the people that are particular You can't just really say feldspar. That would be like saying, I have a horsetail inclusion in a garnet. Okay? And that's like, well, you know, what kind of garnet? There's 6 families of garnet, but I only know, you're left wondering, well, do they know that if it's a true horsetail inclusion, that it's indicative of an andradite? And not only that, it's indicative of an andradite garnet, you know, in the family of, or a demantoid in the family of andradite, and you can pinpoint the location as being, of course, Russia. So, you know, if you just say garnet, it either, you know, if the person is saying that, they're either thinking that, you know, they're in a group that may not know. If they say, yeah, beautiful horsetail inclusion in a demantoid, or beautiful in an andradite, you know. So if he's really got to dumb it down several layers to say just in a garnet. But here's the other flip side. Very, very, very few people know about all the families and what is what in the feldspar group. And if you actually look and break down the different feldspars, some have a more silicious content, in other words, a content with a higher silica percentage than other ones. So since so many people don't, you just say, okay, in a feldspar, but time to start learning about some of the different feldspars. Let's just stick with one that you're familiar with. Labradorite. Labradorite. Labradorite belongs and is a plagioclase feldspar. There. That's all we're going to start with. Labradorite is a plagioclase feldspar. We'll talk about more of that in time. Miss Elisa says, Professor, I believe I spoke too soon. The photo you were referring to is my iCloud contact profile picture. So if anyone else wants to add a photo along with their emails, add one to your iCloud account profile. And thank you. The photo is with me with my 2 kids, now 15 and 11, at a wedding almost 4 years ago. Okay, that is all from me, Miss Elisa. Wow. And like I said, I say that because I wanted and asked for everyone to send their picture, if you could, so that I could put the face with the name also. You get to see me in all my antics. You get to see me if my nose is running, when I'm having a bad day, when I'm not feeling well, and good, bad, and the ugly. So those of you that have sent in pictures of yourself, thank you so much. Like Miss Barbara in her kitchen with all the rocks out, and most of them gotten from me. I love it. All right, we are almost done here. Mr. Harry in Massachusetts. Well, hey there, Professor, and the beautiful Raven, as well as GSN pros, and all my buds out there in rocks. You know, I got to say one thing, Harry. When you say that about the GSN crew and using the word pros, they truly are. They truly are. They are the unsung heroes. When I heard the Late Show people going and sticking up for their writers and what they do for all these shows, it did make me think of our production crew here, that they are the ones that really make it all happen, and yet you don't hear about them. They don't get the credit they deserve. I don't think they get the pay they deserve, and other things. So, so many of you remember them. So many of you comment about the GSN team, and all of it has been complimentary. Whether it has been shipping, like the comment earlier today, you don't have to make it childproof. It is so well packed. That's the job they do. And of course, especially in rocks and minerals, they don't always know necessarily how brittle something might be. So you're going to make sure you're going to get it wrapped up really well. You get to see Dave's skill with how he uses the camera on very unusual pieces. And you recognize that. And you point that out, and you thank them for it. And I thank you for just noticing them, because they are as an integral part of every show here at Gem Shopping, not just this one. And I'm grateful. So I'd like to see that you guys mention that as well. Well, I've had a major setback the couple weeks with the Jeep and getting wrong parts and having to be in shipping, holding, and exchange pattern with FedEx and just getting done cutting the line of Marilani. Yuck. That is funny. Ben and now Ed, my roommate, is playing electrician, as he spells it, if you know what I mean. LOL. Oh, and my sister is going along well with her chemo. Woohoo! And got my Lord Tone LU6X fully back in service, so I am also in the middle of a Whopper elongated faceted teardrop design. I am doing it freehand, and so far, so good. Sent me a beautiful picture of a really nice Colorado smoky quartz. I like the exotic nature of that, and a stunning picture of an amethyst crystal that he is going to cut, and I can already tell from the crystal from the outside that baby's going to produce some red flash for you. So enjoy working on that. Show it to me when you are done. Ciao, Professor Shawn, GSN crew, and Rock family. Please pardon my month-long hiatus from writing in. Time sure goes by quickly, and this is from Mr. Charles in Oregon. I have the typical excuses: new job, taxes, gardening, etc. Well, as long as you return to us, that's what we want. That's all that matters. Just come back. I did briefly check out the shows while I was away and scored the Vermeil Peridot bracelet. It was too good of a deal to pass up. My wife Heidi recently inherited a gold and peridot ring, and this bracelet is going to be the perfect matching gift for her 40th birthday in August. Wait till you see the pair of in and out peridot earrings I have. And you know what? No one else bought them at the crazy price I put them at. And the reason may be just this: they were waiting for you. They were waiting for you. I'll show them to you. Now, I can't do it on all items, but if you actually want them vermeil when you see them, in other words, they're in silver now, I will do it for you, gold plate it for you, and I won't even charge you anymore, as long as it comes out nice looking. So anyway, I'll show you that shortly. Because if she has the ring, you got the bracelet, these earrings would be perfect. And I can't believe that no one had gotten them. But again, magic happens. And it might just be happening again for you if you like them. Welcome, Vanya. I encourage you to keep watching and participating with us. It's a great place to learn and share. Vanya is our latest member, and was trying to see if the trivia prize worked. I asked the top brass, and they said no, we're not shipping out of the country, but they certainly appreciated you asking and participating in the show. So yes, Vanya, keep watching. And remember, also had the great question about what was my most significant or memorable opal and how did I get it? And if you want to hear two great stories, because there were two opals, go and listen to the last show. With love, Charles sends, question 1, coprolite is the more appropriate name to be used for fossilized dinosaur. Scat, there we go. Scat is actually the correct scientific term. There's, I think it's a scatologist that actually studies that kind of thing. But I think scat would be, I guess, the proper word for recent, dinosaur time. Coprolite for fossilized. Question 2, Oregon sunstone is feldspar with copper inclusions. Indian sunstone is a silica material with hematite inclusions. Yes, a silica material. Fine tune it to a microcline or an oligoclase. There, if you want to remember that as an extra bonus, instead of just remembering that labradorite is a plagioclase feldspar. Okay, so there we go. There we have it. We got lots of things to show you. So we did a drawing already randomly, and wow, it pays to join the show and have fun, or just listen and have fun as well. Charles, you're the winner. Charles, let's show you what we have for you. This is a really cool set of 2 Paprock, Afghanistan tourmaline crystals. And so look at these. Very cool, huh? They can easily be made into drop pendants and or just kept together. Let me show you the color. Look at that beautiful pink. And from a quite exotic place. All right, let's tuck those away for you. We'll be right back with the show. This isn't something that you see every day, nor will you probably see this exact combination again. This is kind of straight off of Shawn's faceting bench of Projects Undone. So I was sitting there the other day working on a piece, and I didn't take much looking around. I thought, you know what? I am not going to get to all this material. I'm going to pass some of it along. And what you're seeing is those of you that cut stones, or those of you that just simply collect them for different reasons. And I'm going to show you one in a minute. All right, this is a really neat parcel. Something as simple as the Madagascan iolite is a fantastic one for learning about dichroic nature of stones. So if you look at this, you can see that there's been a slice taken off of it. That's the way I got it, but you know, someone may have gotten a big piece from it or not. Not sure what part that was, but what's left is, you know, I would probably use it really almost as an educational piece. Look at this. Okay, iolite. There we go. Perfect. Look at that. Okay, so iolite with all its names. Remember, dichroite being another one named after one of its, well, it is most significant property, dichroism, meaning it changes color with the different axis of the crystal. So in this way, the other name is water sapphire. You can see why sapphire could be used. Look how rich that blue is. But if we change and turn the stone, you're going to see, and this is why also it was able to be used for navigation, because you can orient it with the sun, and you will actually get, look at part of this at the bottom where it goes completely clear. So water sapphire, of course, the sapphire part, and then the water being clear. So it will go from a complete blue to completely clear without any trace of color. I think that's so cool. Look at this on this this axis. Look at that. Look at that on that axis. I can almost get it to where you do not see any blue whatsoever. How fun is that to have for a learning specimen? Look at that, huh? A lot of fun, huh? So, okay. Now, let's just leave the lights as they are, because this next item I'm going to show you.
What's the price on this? Okay, so showing all the stones.
Yep, in a second we'll show that also. And look at this. Okay, Slaughter Mountain. Slaughter Mountain, Arizona, the place for fire agate in the world, which is a type of chalcedony where limonite affects the color, and the botryoidal formation that you see here with the iridescent colors is what you want to see. That is the money. And the cool factor. Isn't that neat? So this piece, I actually didn't do this rub. I got this one like this as well. And so someone has rubbed it down to the color. Wouldn't take much to finish it. Look at the back. Really gives it away that this is an agate. Now, let me show you. I have 2 pieces. This, one of the rarest items to get your hands on to cut. And I'm really not sure why I'm even letting these go. But I have 2 pieces of Sweet Home rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite also very dichroic, changes color with the direction that you turn it. Goes from lovely pinks to pink and orange, beautiful colors. I cut a completely clean, faceted 12 karat one, and had it for a while, showed it off for a while, and finally sold it for a tidy sum, rightfully so. Sweet Home Mine, no longer open for rhodochrosite mining, but there is one higher up on the slope, another mine in the same mountain that they're seeing what they can find there. Thank you, sir. All right, so that was the one piece, and here is the other one. Very similar, you can see color. Here's the thing, if it doesn't look completely transparent, well, it's not supposed to, because you have all this rough material out here. And you know, they would have to cut some size stone. Almost any size is going to be a valuable piece. All right, so here's a cutting parcel that I just made it quite affordable. Very much affordable if you want to get in on some material that normally you can't find, and if you do, it's going to be exorbitant. So, especially in the rhodochrosite pieces. All right, so let's just make it all only this, only $38. Yep, I'm gonna make it up to you guys for anything you were lacking in the last couple of weeks by showing you some stunning items today, and that was one of them. But there are many more to come, including, oh, this next gem, 1114623. 1114623. I have never seen another one of what I'm getting ready to show you. It is without a doubt what I would think as a collector's gem. And let me make sure I wipe this down. And if you use those attachments, those simple attachments I've showed you before, and attach it to your phone to do close-up photography, you're going to love this. This is a great segue from going from that iolite to this stone, because to me, this is the most dichroic stone in the market, andalusite. This is not your everyday andalusite either. It is basically rutilated andalusite. Yes, there is rutile in this stone. I don't know what to show you first. Well, first, let's do the color. All right. The amazing thing about andalusite is it will go from a, look at that, a copper red to an olive green or almost colorless in some cases. Look at that. And then turn it right there. All right, isn't that cool? So most of the times it is cut like this one is, so that when you look down on it from above, you can see green through the sides of the emerald cut and red in the ends. So that's the most common way to cut it. But if I had a lot of andalusite to cut, I sure would be experimenting with different additional angles. Now, you can see the rutile. I don't know if Dave can take us in any closer, but you can see it right there. Let me get a little additional tool, like we always have something for you, and get to do show and play sometimes. All right, let me see if we can look through this, because it is certainly worth it. Now, how steady I can hold my hand for everybody. There we go. There we go. Look at those rutile needles in that piece. We're going to flip there. Now we're really, really going in there. You know, we've seen the rutile in quartz, but I have to admit, I have never seen it in Andalusite. But when you think of the chemical formula of it and the chemical formula of rutile, you could see where it would, the elements would be available for rutile to form. So you can see all those needles going around and through that. You can see also that I had it on some black material that looked like it picked up some of. Well, I have had this tucked away for decades, literally decades, and so wow, you can really see that rutile in that. When you get this, you know, and in the pleasure of your home, and when you get out the loop and, you know, set it all up, and you wipe the stone down with a, you know, an alcohol and water mixture, or just something safe. Andalusite's a hard stone, 7.5 or so, so it's gonna, you know, it takes the knocks, but, you know, there's just something about it that is drawing. Remember, it has 2 polymorphs. And that was a trivia question once before. A polymorph is a stone that has the same chemical formula as another, but a different crystal system or formation that causes it to look completely different than something that has the same formula. Now, since I've done the trivia before, I'll go ahead and give you the answers about it, who it's to, not even cousins. This is basically, it would be an identical twin because it's genetically the same. But these must be mutated because one of its polymorphs is kyanite. Kyanite has the same formula as Andalusite. And the other is sillimanite. Sillimanite, which is that either the, you know, cat's eye or the star you see it in, or it cuts beautiful light yellow, clear stones. So, yeah. So a neat stone all around, one of my favorites, and why it's been in my collection, and can be very expensive, but very expensive relative to what? I think this is one of the most underpriced gems in the market, as I still think sphene is. I think the bang for the buck you get for sphene is underpriced. Okay, price on this. This is underpriced. This is Shawn's pricing. Let's go ahead and I must have had some math I did because I came up with a weird number of $48. $48 on that. And yeah, so that looks like, I don't know, 50-something dollars a carat, whatever. Here's the thing. What I have not seen in any others is that rutile. So it's a really fun stone to look at. It's one of those that, you know, when you're looking at that and that little piece, you know, and then realize, oh, wow, yeah, that's right. This isn't quartz. This is an Andalusite with rutile I'm looking at. And then it really adds to the meaning, is the way it would make me feel. Okay, let's keep going here. Now, I have, let's see. Well. Yeah, sure, this one. It is item 111, 5023. 111-5023. And this stone is an oldie, but a goodie. I have had it for quite some time, and I knew where it came from, the estate that it came from prior, which really dates it to to, I know, back to like the 70s. Look at this. This is a purple star sapphire. Yeah. A Sri Lankan, which is Ceylon, purple star sapphire. Look at the native cut. You see how well, this isn't a bad cut. When I look at that, this, I am always amazed at how they can take an off-shaped piece of crystal or an alluvial, which these would have been alluvial, so crystals that have tumbled through the water and are all misshapen, and they can get an oval or calibrated or a usable look from above, looking straight down, but when you look at them from the side, then you know they're native cut. That's okay, because what that tells me is that the local villagers are getting the money cutting it. So the locals on what they call artisanal mining, they get to do the mining and share in the profits of the material. Then the locals also, many countries, this is by decree, insist on the stones being cut locally. So what often can happen, especially on the high-end nice goods, they'll do a native cut. So they'll cut to the best of their ability, and it can leave you with some off-shaped stones. Usually they're cutting for weight at that point, so to maximize the weight. Then the stones will be sent to major cutting centers like Bangkok, and they'll be recut. So pretty much sometimes the local native cut stones, what they're doing in the gem trade would be called, they're preforming it. Just like the Lion of Miralani, where the cutter cut one in a synthetic material first and then transpose those angles for Savorite and cut the real thing. When you do a native cut, the locals are just doing the preform, so to speak, and then a master cutter can come in when the stones are valuable enough or big enough to make that worthwhile. Here's just a nice purple sapphire. It looks great from above. You can bezel set the thing. No one's going to know the difference. This, if you had any opportunity months, years ago, to get in on some of these Ceylon sapphires I've offered, well, not many going to be offered anymore, but here's a chance right now to get in on one of them. So this one, carat 17, let's make it only, oh, why not, $58. $58, that would be an opportunity. Be a good opportunity. Again, especially since I know I can trace back the history of the stone myself that I know of, 50 years or so. So, I guess that's the good thing about being an old man, 62. But having started early, allows me not only in my own personal items, but knowing other people and the provenance. I can date a lot of my own stuff to a particular, decade or even closer to an exact year. So here's a chance. Purple sapphire, it's over a carat, carat 17, only $58. Look at that star. That's got all 6 layers raring to go. And 6 by 5, that would probably fit a 7 by 5 setting with no problem. Now, let me show you. Okay, everybody's going to scramble for this one. Item 111-5223. 111-5223. And you're getting ready to see a real jewel. A real jewel, but it is a real jewel. I guess I should have, that is, Mother Nature did the faceting. And this would have been a good piece to show alongside, next to whatever, the rutilated andalusite, because check this out. How about that for a rutilated crystal? Look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Red rutile. Actually, you see red and golden and silver in this. Some of the red actually kind of goes into golden. Look at how many different ways you can show this off. While that spins for a minute, I'll put this stone away. But wow, this is a really nice collector's crystal. Plus, I couldn't get enough adjectives in for everything going on with it. Look at the irises. Iris quartz. Iris is a rainbow that you can get reflecting from inclusions in material. And so as this spins around, look for those. You can see some up here. Also look for some in the reflection. Look at that. And at every different angle, it can bring you a whole nother look. I've had pieces for years and never seen a particular flash in them, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, look at that beautiful iris, and I'd never seen it before. Well, it's because you have to sometimes just hold it just right. It's just the right angle, the light hitting it just the right way. And then look at that. Did you see the one coming out at the bottom down there? And look at that rutile. Look at that. So this, of course, you can make it into jewelry. You can, there's a lot of rainbow irises that are going to occur there. Oh, here's the other thing. That's right. I'm glad I saw it with my own eye, because that is the hematite. Look at those red discs. And this is kind of where also in the trivia question, when we talked about the hematite in quartz or hematite in feldspar, hematite can occur so strongly in quartz that you get a red, look at reflection of hematite in quartz instead of hematite in feldspar. So it can occur. And just a lot of people, there's not really a name given to it. But look at those red discs. They are really neat. And when you look close into them, look at that. You're going to enjoy that. You're just going to enjoy this piece because, okay, look at that. So when you have, remember, when you have the black hematite with the crystals coming out, oftentimes if they can be in a 6-ray pattern, because the 6 legs, the star in a ruby and sapphire is actually created by this material, rutile, by that material you see. So when you get a hematite center and then quartz grows in a hexagonal pattern, crystal shape, so you get a hexagonal formation of the rutile coming away from a hematite center. I have sold pieces, cabochons or a little bit pieces bigger for here at Gem Shopping, giving incredible deals for $1,000 to $3,000. That's how valuable some of those can be. This, because of all the flat sides, look at that. Look at how many different ways I can sit that. That one I can really see the red changing to golden in the rutile. That, look at those red discs down there. Look at that. How fun is that? Again, not something I would normally share, but I am. This is a particularly really nice collector's crystal. But of course, I never was good at making money. $48. But fun? I like to have fun. Like to have fun with the gems and minerals and sharing it. That's the value I get out of it, is sharing my knowledge and my exuberance and my passion and love of items that Mother Nature did and all man does, like for the cut stones, is just fashions them into a gem. All the hard work has already been done. Now, I am going to do something here I don't think I've ever done in the 6 years we've been doing the show. Wait, first, hold on. Let's just see if anybody wants something really unique. This is a super old item. Item 657417. And this is a good, that piece you're looking at is a great segue to what I'm getting ready to show right now, and that's why I am showing them. This, remember I talked about hematite centers with rutile coming away from them, again, can be so valuable. Look at this. Look at this. I have those hematite centers. You can see the rutile crystals growing along with these pieces. This is a unique collection. Look at that. See that silvery material? That's actually rutile. I mean, that's actually hematite when it is in that kind of like specular hematite look. Even though specular hematite is created by hematite, bright hematite, and a micaceous type of matrix. Okay, so this one kind of shows you and gives you the idea of the 6 rays of rutile that can come away from the center. And isn't that neat? You can see if when it's big enough, you can imagine how that would look. If you want some really cool pieces that no one else is going to have anything like these unique pieces, because they're hard, it's hematite. That's hard, and unique. Hematite. So here also, if you want something to use as a comparison on a streak plate, this is perfect for that. Share them with your friends. They may not have a piece of hematite. Basically what we call it is a study collection, to have as part of the study collection, where you can put real hematite that you know what it is on a streak plate next to another piece that you're trying to determine, maybe is it red enough? Is it not red? Well, you'll have the real hematite to distinguish it by this parcel. And here's the other thing. How about this? The entire batch for $12. $12. And that's why you can share. You can share at that price because, like I said, straight up rutile, difficult to find. Okay, let me show you else something really neat I have not featured in a long time. This is going to be super sale priced. It is $979,220. $979,220. And I thought of these, oddly enough. I made the connection when I heard Gordon Lightfoot passed away, which I was a big fan during my balladeer days of and traveling days. It reminded me, Arlo Guthrie, Gordon Lightfoot, just Bob Dylan, some of the balladeer singers. And I remembered that I had one of the finest tiger eye guitar picks that you've ever seen. This is a really, really nice quality material. And it's unheated, natural. Look at the banding. Look at that banding. They're all drilled, so you can either make them into a pendant, and also one of my brothers, who is a masterful guitar player, said they play really well, as other guitar players have as well. They're actually the actual size of a guitar pick. Look at these. There is not a bad one in the bunch. And wow, look at that. Look at that. That is really high grade. Yeah. Woohoo. Great looking stuff. So, price each. This is all I have, a quantity of 6. So let me put that in there. Okay, yep. Price each, sale priced, which is going to make them only $14 each. Wow, $14 each. And there's no limit. If you want to take them all, you can be king of the guitar pick, of the Tiger Eye guitar pick. At that quality, you would be doing really well. Now, wait till you see what I'm going to show you next. 107-9622. 107-9622. Now, this will take just a moment because I need to put it on a neck. What I'm getting ready to show you, I think actually I might have featured some time ago and then pulled it and probably changed my mind about selling it. Anyway, or maybe Raven caught me. Raven's in the house, but she's next door. I am getting ready to show you something that is a treat. One of my favorite materials, and guess what? Something we just talked about. Let's take a look at what you would normally have to go far away to mine. This is pretty much as good as it gets. Labradorite, spectralite labradorite. Look at this. From Finland. Look at this. Now, what makes this? This is wire wrapped. Okay, what makes this really also special is this pattern of play of color follows its natural crystal shape. Look at that. Now, I've brought in before feldspar, moonstone crystals or feldspar. Remember that big one I found at a construction site that broke into a vein of material, and I brought a 4-inch specimen, and it was in that parallelogram or monoclinic shape, crystal shape. And that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing this play of colors outlining what its crystal pattern is. Here's the other thing. Finland. The only place in the world for this quality of spectralite. What is spectralite? Spectralite basically is the expensive high-end version of labradorite. It has a black, see, look how dark the base color is. Black or very dark base color and very vibrant and intense colors that normal labradorite doesn't have. Look at that. I mean, that is electrifying. There's the back of it. The back, look at that. The back isn't even polished. The back isn't polished. And you can see what colors that is exhibiting. Let me check something. I'm curious just to see. if there was any. Oh yeah, light's passing through it. I was just wanting to see just how translucent, look at that, translucent it is. Wow, look at that. You can see, again, the outlining of the crystal. Thank you, sir. And that's desirable for it not to be opaque. Yeah, that's crystalline material. Look at how thick that is for light to pass through. This is something that very few people who even collect rocks and minerals, gems and minerals, will have. They may have labradorite. Most people will. Labradorite is a very undervalued semi-precious gem. Incredible for carvings. Beautiful material. I have sold so much beautiful labradorite. I have sold carved elephants for anywhere. Well, elephants and frogs. I have sold like 6-inch frogs in incredible labradorite for like $1,000. Elephants for $1,500 each, and couldn't keep them. And that was in Madagascar material. Spectralite, hard material to find. This is on a cord, so it's on one of those leather cords, 18 inches, silver clasp, so it's ready to go. And I'm just going to turn it right there for the moment. Well, I get the price ready on this because it's one of those things. All right, so you know what? I think I've offered this before. I am going to make this considerably less so that someone has the opportunity to own something they wouldn't even normally see for sale, let alone the opportunity to get this for $228. $228 lonely dollars. And yep, that's all the right info. Yep. And so, let me tuck this away safely. I'll be right back with the treasure. All right. I couldn't help it. There were so many of you that wanted more blue forest petrified wood that I broke into our personal stash and brought out a couple other pieces. So I'm going to show you this one and one that's a little larger. Now, for those of you that don't recall, blue forest petrified wood is created like no other petrified wood. It formed in the back sloughs of a part of the large lake system, the Green River Basin, which later went on to form all those fish fossils that you see that coming out of the Wyoming basin area, where there used to be a huge inland sea. So back in the, and I used to live on a big lake compound here, Corps Engineer Lake Lanier. And so I know if you get back in the back sloughs and where the water is real still, you can run into some really swampy areas, not only swampy areas, but where the water doesn't move. And if there's limbs in there, algae builds up. Algae builds up. Okay, so picture this as wood. It's easy to do. Look, there is very wooden-like exterior portions of this that look like a living tree. And you get a buildup of algae. There's also a high silica content. Between the algae and the other chemicals taking place, it creates almost a shell around the inner branch, the inner piece of wood, right? Well, that shell is protecting that wood from outside sources of water and of anything that would cause the wood to rot. Well, what did happen was the wood dried out inside this kind of encasement and it shrank. So it pulled away from its outer shell. When it did, and each of these formed a little different. Sometimes some water got in different areas. Sometimes, It wasn't a shell, and it petrified anyway, and so you get all these different looks. But one of the main looks is this. You have your center limb that pulled away and shrunk, and when it did, it allowed chalcedony and agate or silica to fill in that area. Now, I just tried with Dave again to see if we could bring you fluorescence. You'd think I'd give up, but no, I had one more try. I wanted to try something else, because here's one of the really cool things about this wood from this area. The chalcedony is easy to figure out and separate it from the agate, because it fluoresces an amazing greenish yellow fluorescence that is really, really stands out. And, okay, so like this area right here, it will fluoresce. It's in very specific areas. All right, so there's several things you look for in the wood. You have the original limb. You can have other limbs, like a regular tree that come in. You can have some of the original exterior of the tree. These were pepper trees, what they called, pepper trees. And they still live in out there as different species. Look at this. So you can see the exterior. Here's the bottom of it, which tells you a little bit more story. This, you can see a lot of the agate overcame the wood. And why I have this priced for a bargain for somebody, because grab this one up. It is only $88. $88. This is one of the most collectible ones. This is 15 million years ago. This is Wyoming. This is made in the USA. Now, you see that comment of calcite? Calcite was another filler. Calcite would grow and crystallize in different portions at different times. No set rule to finding it. But here, you can see is where it is, right there. Oftentimes, you can see worm burrows that will create entrances into the center wood. Now, I see the center, somewhere along the line, water was able to get to it. Silica, right here. And I looked at this, and this didn't fluoresce, so this is a agate and not a chalcedony. This is a lot of fun. This one is going to be a lot of fun. You have a lot of studying to do. There is incredible fluorescence down here. I'm not going to tell you any more about that one. That's a real beauty. If you want to make a decision between the two, I'm going to show you the other one right now. Let's look at item 111, 4823. And this is a beauty. Okay, so look at the size between the two. And there we go. So you can see you do pick up considerable size. There aren't any, it's not like the Arizona petrified wood. I've been to the National Petrified Wood Forest in Arizona. I travel from one end to the other. So I've personally loved petrified wood. I have collected petrified wood off of I-10. Believe me, you can too if you're ever going out there. It's a secret, so don't tell too many people. But I changed drivers at the time, and this was along the part of the interstate that was in the same north-south direction as the park lies. So if you pull off on I-10 on the interstate, just, in the same direction where the park is, in that same area, they broke into a large petrified wood deposit. and nothing they could do. They couldn't take I-10 and reroute it around anywhere. I didn't know it. I stepped out and I just happened to look down at the ground, and all of a sudden my little hands were like a squirrel. I could not pick up enough nuts fast enough, and I was filling my pockets as quick as I could go. And I've even given those out here in the show as free items, I remember, until I didn't want to give any more away because they were beautiful pieces. They would cut tremendous cabochons. They were all maybe 2 inches, maybe 3 inches, the largest, but it was a great example of the wood that was in the place that you cannot take any souvenirs home from. All right, so I have seen petrified wood. My point being, this one that you're looking at, oh, Alabama petrified wood, yes, I have some. I had a lot to do with a guy that had some on his property at one time. Mississippi petrified wood. There is another petrified wood forest you can go and look at right in Mississippi. So, yeah, petrified wood, I like it. Here, again, let's look at this piece. And let's look at its attributes. What do we have here? Again, here's the center. Here, again, is where it shrinks and pulls away from the exterior, creating gaps where chalcedony comes in. Now, it's really tough to say, okay, and look at this and say, okay, what part's going to fluoresce and what part's not. The black light will tell you, but it's often this other layer. So you're looking at this and you see this brighter, it'll be this darker area closer to the center. Don't know if that exactly will do it right there, but I'm saying that's kind of what you look for. It'll tell you, all of you should have an ultraviolet long wave light. They're inexpensive. You can get them anywhere. You can get them at the counter, on a keychain. All right, so something like this, there's a really good chance that this was a worm, a tree burrower, a tree burrower. And on the exterior, you can see, look at that. Your original exterior, look at how that just looks like a tree, a real tree. Then you can get some other areas where there wasn't the bark. You can get other areas where there's the fossilized. Look at this. This is beautiful. And this is going to be chalcedony. I think when I look at that, that's chalcedony. That's going to glow for you. Look at that. So there's other areas where this is what you look for. This is the petrified algae. These areas here is where the algae actually petrified. So that looks interesting. Oftentimes insects would come in, they'd burrow out an area and then deposit a larva, and then they do their thing. That's pretty symmetrical. Could be something to that effect right there. Let's take a quick look at the bottom. Price on this, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and give you a opportunity of a lifetime. $148. $148. Yep, look at that. You have some really nice, interesting aspects to it, and I like that it has a beautiful polish on a flat lap, and I like that angle because it displays really well without having to stand over the top of it. Only $148 on that one. So in the real world, that's it. I do not think after these two pieces that there's anything left to our collection that we're going to be offering. And in stirring up this house from the flood, it actually allowed me to see into some other areas of the house I hadn't seen in a while, and be able to, bring you some items that I discovered. That's always nice. Okay, we're going to do something. Let me, we're going to, all right, first, let me just, I tell you what, let me put this up and I'll be right back. All right, I tell you what, I had decided a while back to keep the last little bit I had left of this batch, but I said, no, I'm going to go ahead and share. Again, I realized I have so much, I can't do it all. Now, I was thinking about tumbling these, but this is San Carlos Apache Reservation peridot, which is 80 to 95% of world's production of peridot comes from that source. A lot of people don't realize it. They think and automatically say, oh, Chinese peridot, Chinese peridot. No, not always Chinese peridot. Not when you have 80 to 95% of the world's peridot that is used in the jewelry market coming from this source. Yes, it might be cut in China. That's very possible. But what you think often is Chinese peridot may very well be Arizona peridot. But I can tell you this particular batch of peridot is respectable. It's some beautiful color. It is made in the USA, and it's very obvious it's not that bright yellow material that is often indicative of Chinese material. Now here's another tell for Arizona peridot. It's the way it was formed. It is found not crystalline like the Pakistani peridot, which personally to me, Pakistani peridot, well, has everything else beat, but it's not because of the color or quality. It's because it forms in crystals. It forms in crystals. And I just happen to love the crystalline form. Now here, okay, so I said that. Well, what's the problem with these? Now remember, peridot, AKA olivine, is what is in pallasites. What's a pallasite? Pallasite is a nickel iron meteorite that has, well, that has numerous or some peridot vugs in it. In other words, all these little areas that peridot formed as it was in space. That is the true space gem. So when you hear about, oh yeah, you know, stones from space, no, there's not an individual peridot. All there can be. I had a stunning pallasite that I sold here in this show in the last 6 years that was mine personally, with the most stunning amount of nickel around it in a triangle shape. It was big and perfect for jewelry with facet grade peridot openings. You know, I can't say crystals because it wasn't crystalline, but it was an amazing quality piece. But don't have another one, but you never know what you're going to see in the show. All right, so I only have 2 parcels of these. The other parcel I'll just flash in, you can see, is going to be identical. That's pretty much the way I roll. Look at that. Beautiful color. Now, these will cut smaller stones. Going back to the shape, what does the shape tell you? The shape tells me that, and especially in the San Carlos Reservation and the way things, how the area around there formed, tells me that rhyolite's involved. Oh yeah, just like opal, just like the Mexican opal that formed in the openings that are in rhyolite, that's how peridot has formed. It is in these misshapen, non-crystalline pieces because it filled openings in rhyolite. Just like Oregon sunstone, Mexican opal. Yeah. Look at these. These are most of them, facet grade. Facet grade material. Look at that. That's just like a glassy piece of candy. Which, by the way, keep them away from your grandkids or children, because gems and jewels can look awfully much like candy. There's a real neat yellow one there too. All right, only have 2 parcels. They are priced as a great opportunity for you. 40 carats of cutting material, and they are only going to be $28 each. $28 each. Look at this other one. This one, I'm going to put the backlight this one because I was just looking at it. It's like, wow, this is really gemmy. Look at that. Work your magic there, Dave, please. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. And a lot of different colors. And then look at down there. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Thank you, sir. All right, so only 2 parcels left. And when I started with this years ago, I had more, but you guys were wise and bought it all. Let's look at item 1104123, 1104123. And let's see what this brings us. I have an opportunity, again, here, the real deal. Before there comes a day when you're not going to ever be able to buy genuine amethyst that is, well, you know what? Watch the wording. They can actually say genuine amethyst and it not be genuine as you think. It's genuine chemically, but what you want to see is something that says, you know, from the ground or mined or, you know, naturally nature grown, because there's so many easy ways to word something to make it sound like, again, the genuine amethyst line. So that's why I see the zoning, a little bit of zoning, a little bit of coloring that is off. That's what you want to see in amethyst. You want to see something that tells you that, look at that right there. You see the different areas of color? When they lab grow amethyst, they can't put in zoning. They can't put in the subtle changes and differences in color. And so that's why I say you want to see that to know it's the real deal. Matching stones, 8 by 6 millimeter, and 3 that are 7 by 5. There's another one hidden right there. And a beautiful color. Beautiful color. Everything you see here, I have them sale priced for you. How about this? What? There's 7 stones. How would you like them for $14? All of them. $2 a stone. February birthstone. You know, like Anthony, he knows how long it would take to cut 1 stone. And to be able to buy them all for $2 a stone. Yeah, so opportunity knocks. And you know what? I took them out of a ring. That's why they all match. Yep, I actually took a ring apart. Scrapped the gold. It wasn't a up-to-date design, and the value of the gold far exceeded the value of the amethyst. The balance was off. So your opportunity now to buy them. All right, I am going to go through these so I can get to them. You're going to want what I'm getting ready to show you. Each item will take me a moment to unwrap. Item 1113723. Okay, so let's not show the graphic until I show the stone first, because I want a little bit of a surprise factor to this, because what I'm getting ready to offer you and show you, I'm going to tell you right now, so you don't just everyone rush to the phones, even though you probably will anyway. I have 3 of what I'm getting ready to offer you. This is the first of them in no particular order. And I have not offered anything like this in years. Years. This is something that came 12,000 miles to be presented right here. I'm going to show you this to you, and before we pull the graphic up, I want you to think what it could be. I want you to see if you can figure it out for a moment, as I put these amethysts away, what this gem might be. Okay? So it's something where inclusions are expected. Stones are available clean. This material I mentioned earlier, actually, in today's show. This is a rare emerald cut. Look at that. Look at that. Those inclusions you see are expected. Look at that. All right, so we're going to pull the graphic up. I just wanted you to have a chance to see if you could figure out Nepalese kyanite. I kid you not. Nepalese kyanite. It is one of my really favorite stones. And you know what? Remember mentioning it earlier? It was a polymorph? Yes. So this is identical to the andalusite in chemical composition and a sillimanite. Of course, sillimanite named after the Yale professor in the geology department, just a brilliant guy, all kinds of things he's been involved with. This is a gem. And it's one that I know its actual history goes back to the 1970s. I can trace it that far back, which is rare. I can tell you right now, I've had this stone a long time. And you've never seen it before. No show has. I've just, you might have seen some kyanite many years ago. This material, hard to find now. Nepal is hard to work in. They had a terrible earthquake, killed a lot of climbers, affected the business there a lot, in all kinds of ways. I have 2 others, so I'm going to tell you the price of this one. Let me make sure I have the others to show back to back before we get to something else that you're really going to like as well. Okay, yep, I wrap these up separate so I can find them. All right, price on this one, it is the largest of the ones I am going to be featuring. This incredible 3.82 karat emerald cut kyanite. Remember the deal about kyanite? What's so unique about it? 2 different hardnesses. A 5 in one direction and a 7 in the other, or in that range. You know, it could be a 5 1/4 to, 6 3, something like that. But upwards of 2 numbers on the Mohs scale. That's a lot. That's a lot. That makes it unique. You've seen the kyanite crystals I've sold, how beautiful they are, but you can see how elongated and unique, and the striated inclusions as well is a giveaway. But let me tell you one quick story. I know someone very well, no names mentioned because of the embarrassment factor, bought an entire tray. Someone came into the store, and he was a buyer, a gem buyer, and he must have bought about, if I was to estimate, there was at least 60 stones that were 3 to 5 carats. 3 to 5 carats. I walked in the store. He was all proud of them. He said, "Look at the deal I got." I walked over to the counter, and all I did, I stood over them. So you're talking about a distance of maybe 4 feet, 3 feet from my eyes to the tray. In 1 moment of thought, I said, wow, those are some beautiful kyanites. And with that, I watched his face turn ashen white. He had gone to one of the top gem dealers in the country. That person happens to be in Atlanta, but he had gotten his advice. I wasn't available, and he wanted advice, I think, actually on another level even. And this person said, same thing, beautiful sapphire. Didn't test it, did a visual. He said, yeah, those are definitely sapphires. And my associate said, well, the guy had some more. Of course the guy had some more. He found a sucker for the first batch. And you know what? Before I got involved, my associate bought the others based on what the gem dealer also said as them being genuine. That seller must have been laughing twice over. To take someone, not just one person, but two people in the jewelry business. That's how careful at the level that people are can be. But that's how easy overconfidence and thinking you know it all can get you as well. These stones, yeah, absolutely, you can see how they would look like sapphires. The price actually wasn't ridiculously cheap. So that made it additionally painful. And that associate said to me, he goes, as soon as you said kyanite, he goes, I knew you were right. He goes, I totally forgot about kyanite being an option for an alternative gem that they could be. Yep. That gem, that knowledge, $68. Only $68. Let's look at item 111, 3523. 111, 3523. A horrible story, and it was thousands and thousands of dollars that were lost. And thousands and thousands of dollars that were made. It's just unfortunate that in this business, you have to know. You have to test, because people will attempt to steal from you. Obviously, the guy selling knew they weren't sapphires. He had more. Once he found a pigeon, he went back. And you know what? There was nothing illegal. He did it all. You know, nothing illegal. It's all about what you know. And I knew just visually the difference in inclusions. And that's what I based it on. Check this one out. I'll leave it next to the other for a moment. Look at that. You see what I'm talking about by way of color of a sapphire. This is a 3.12 carat. Look at that color. Stunning color. It really is. It really is. I am thrilled to be able to bring these unique pieces. And this is what we're getting to. I didn't go out and buy these. I haven't bought anything in 6 years. This is, well, I don't even want to say it's stock. These were just part of my collection, part of my passion. And now I'm sharing them. I'm sharing these with all of you and sharing the stories to go with them. Luckily, that didn't happen to me, but it couldn't have in the modern times, maybe when I was 15, but it happens. It can happen. And you get this person in the buying office. He thought, you know, I've taught him a lot, but he thought he knew a lot. And now he knows what he doesn't know. 111, 36, 23. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. That one, 3.12 carat, only $58. $58 for that. Yeah, I challenge anyone to try to find another gem like that. So, you know, it's, the associate said to me, he goes, you were able to tell those were kyanite in 1 second, standing over the top of the case without ever taking them out and looking at them. He said, meanwhile, a well-known gem dealer didn't identify them correctly, even looking at them with a loop. And he goes, how did you do that? And I really didn't have an answer for him. I said, I guess I've seen so many that I know what one is supposed to look like from the other. And I didn't really have an answer. Take a look. This is the last of the 3. These were all fantastic color. These were all the color and saturation, yes, sir, that you want. It is item 1113623, I think. This is a smaller one, just as strong of color in saturation as the large ones. Look at the color in those. This is truly very, Nepal. Nepal is where half of Mount Everest is, okay? The Nepalese, Nepal, the country. And it is also where the region, part of, where Kashmir sapphires are found in that region. The color of that kyanite, to me, is right up there with the finest of a Burmese sapphire or a Kashmir sapphire. They just don't have the silk, but they have the inclusions that make it look real also. So buyer beware out there. This gem, a nice, fun 1 carat, affordable for everybody. And let's see, I didn't even put a price on my bag, but I will now. I'm going to make that one only a $24. $24. Affordable to everybody. Okay, guys and gals. Next, I am going to go quickly because you know about this gem. It is spinel. These are going to be Burma spinels, some of the last of the smaller affordable stones I have, and I am sharing them with you. And I didn't think I ever would, but again, in going back through my inventory, I thought, you know what? I can share a few of these. Let's start off. Item number 1114123. And see, I've already prepped you with knowledge about native cut stones. Okay, so these stones, Burma, these spinels, Burma spinels, alluvially mined, in other words, mined in the creek, tumbled down the creek, cut locally, and they go way back, 1970s. Take a look at the first one. Look at that purple. Look at that purple. That is one of the most valuable colors outside of the reds. The reds are world famous for Burma stones. Now, let me show you. Look at that off-center culet. I don't mind showing you. I'm going to tell you right now, that's a sign that the locals cut it. And you know what? I can feel that energy. Help the locals. Let them get some money out of it. The Tanzanian spinels, because of the cutting industry from the Tanzanites and the Savarites, those spinels never go to the native cut stage. They are instantly swept up and cut really fine the first time. But I've been to Burma. I have been to Thailand. I crossed into Burma on foot, and I know that the Burmese people are poor, and they have a horrible government situation. And I'm glad to see that the locals are getting to cut the stones. And I don't care if they're not cut perfect. It is part of the character to the piece. That's what Raven would say. Item 111, 4323.
What's the price on this?
Oh, sorry about that. Price is $42. Only $50 a carat. $50 a carat for that color purple. And being a Burmese stone, I've had them for a long, long time. And I can trace their origin back to the 70s again. Yep. Let me show you this next one. Look at this. Only one of this cut. And again, one of the most desirable colors there is. This rich purple color. Look at that. Now this is a well-cut marquee. It's actually centered, balanced. And I rarely ever, yeah, these are definitely from my personal collection, rarely ever get to see marquee shaped spinels. That is just something that is seldom ever done. The crystal doesn't lend itself to it. None of that. Now, next. Price on this one? Yep. Only, wow, $32. That is only $40 a carat. Next item is 111 4023. Yeah, this was a batch I had been holding back. And I was looking for stuff and came across it. And I said, you know, I can share some of these. Look at this. Look at this color. Here's a fun one. Wow. You know, I called this cranberry, but I'm not so sure. In different lighting, and yes, light it, yeah, can change it. Well, you can kind of see maybe where I got the cranberry from. Wow, look at that. Yeah, there's cranberry going on in there. Look at the depth to that gem. In other words, you could, well, I wouldn't even want to recut it actually now that I'm looking at it. Nope. But there's plenty of depth to do that if you want it. That is plenty fine. It is a roval, so it's not a round, it's not an oval, but it's just slightly off, so it will fit either mounting. Look at that. There's a lot of facets there. Carat 42. Carat 42. Beautiful. Only $56. $56 for that. And, you know, these stones, I happen to know, were put up for like over decades. And then I have had them a long, long time. And so they have not had any exposure, so to speak. 111 3923. Yeah, look at that jewel. Look at that jewel. Yeah, you know, that's just it. If something looks like you haven't seen, that's because you've been looking at Tanzanian spinels. And yes, there's similar colors coming from both sources, but if you see enough, you get to kind of know that a particular color range isn't something coming out of Tanzania. It's just something different. But yeah, these are Burma. That's why. 101 3923. Look at this. How about that? How about that? You want a sapphire-looking spinel? I'd rather actually. I love spinel. Spinel, especially ones like this, going back to Burma, old material. It is so below the market value and the market value that it should be. Look at how clean that is. Look at that. Yeah, I only have one like this one. And Yeah. Yeah. You know, if you're in the field, that would be difficult to identify and separate from a sapphire. It would be. Ways to do it, but that'd be a tough one. That's a gorgeous stone. Price on this one? Oh, they went up $5 a carat. It looks like $56 for the stone, only $45 a carat. Silly me. Item 1113823. You never know what I'm going to show. Because, yeah, last week and two, when I wasn't feeling well and stuff wasn't right, I wasn't going to get out the good stuff and inventory it and have trouble, determining everything I do. When I told you how long it takes me to inventory items because of the research I do behind them so that I know when I'm presenting them to you all about them. And I do it every time, even for the same material. I drill it into my brain, which I need to a little bit more and more now. When I can bring you something really unique and different like this, that's what I really like. That's what I really like. 1113823. Look at this one. Look at this one. Similar color, but what does it have? It looks like it's got a little bit more of a purple to it. And sometimes, depending on the light I'm in, I'm not really sure exactly about the level of purple or the level of blue. Now that pear shape, that was easy. That was a blue spinel. This one had, look at that native cut. Look at that. Man, if I cut a stone and turned it into, that would get me kicked out of a class if there ever was such a thing. But nevertheless, still sparkle, still bright, still unique. Great recutter stone if someone wants to do that. Price on this one, let me see. I'm easy to confuse. Yeah, this was the carat. Oh, I'm sorry, Asif. I gave you the wrong item number. It's 1113823. Oh, wait. That is what that says. Yeah, it was 3923. Or did I mess that up? Yeah, thank you for fixing that. Carat 63. So the 3823 is a carat 63. And just native cut. The dimensions are 9.6 by 5.9. And it says collector gem, circa 1970s, Shawn's collection. There we go. Perfect. Price on this guy, only $48. $48. That's only $30 a carat. Only $30 a carat for Burma spinel. I looked. I couldn't really find any. But the ones I did, over 3 times that amount. Over 3 times that amount. All right. Now, yeah, I'm still chugging along. Clock is doing good. Get a few more items to you. Let's show you item 1103123. 1103123. Poor Asif, I think I tell him the numbers in a different cadence every time. I don't know why. I should be better at that. Look at this. I'm not going to take them out, but I'm showing them to you because wouldn't it be neat to put side by side, if you have a display cabinet, some of that peridot rough and then some finished. Look at these. Look at these upside down stones. No, but nice matching rounds, matching emerald cuts. You can see the information there and a price to live with. How about this? $14 for everything you see. How is that possible? I'm not really sure. It's not supposed to be possible. $14. I can't imagine. You know, I know what I have to pay for overseas cutting, and even paying that $14, not even counting the cost of material, is actually well below what they charge. So I don't know why I did that. Let's look at item 1114523. 1114523. This parcel, and see, just so the stones don't bump into each other, again, it's really easy. Look how white that paper is. To make just a little type of, folded up item that catches in. Look at the color of these. If I did not know better, I would think that these were red spessartites or something, which would, look at that. Okay, wow, you see how that goes to an orange through there like that? Well, I've already got these out here. My thoughts are to just pull it and not sell them at all. That one, little nick on the side. So I tell you what, let's do this. Let's just make it as is. If you could put that at on the graphic, Asif. Just go to sell those as is, because I know you would rather me sell them than not, because what I'm going to ask for them is ridiculous. Toss out the one with the nick and 12 carats of almandine. But you know what I did when I checked? The different ones of these have look at this, that close and no magnetic contact, no magnetic movement. So what does that tell me? Well, the different ones, some have some pyrote content, some may have some spessartine content. I don't know, that's some incredible color. Here we go, still, garnet. Price on them, ready, set. I'll take, for the entire batch, only $36. Only $36. There is a deal. Now, I wanted to show everybody, also this is just a quick lesson for a moment, because I forgot when I had remember that parcel, cutting parcel of the iolite and fire agate. There was something I wanted to show you. There was also rhodochrosite. And this is something I haven't gotten to do for you before. Rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite, remember, is a manganese carbonate. We might as well pull up the item number. No, never mind, because we already showed this. I don't want to confuse anything. All right, here's the rhodochrosite. Let me show you something if you didn't know it, as a way to determine genuine rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite, okay, calcite, chemical formula, CaCO3, calcium carbonate. Siderite, iron carbonate, FeCO3, right? All right, this is rhodochrosite. It's a manganese carbonate. Chemical formula, MnCO3. There's no iron in this. Let me show you. Here's my magnet. Look at that. That manganese, what's happening here? Sticking to it so much so that I can pick it up with even a small contact point. And that is heavy. What's going on here? Manganese in a certain particular electron valence is magnetic. So keep that in mind when you're investigating spessartine garnet. All right, more later. With the time we have, let's keep going. Yeah, I have not covered what I have even brought in to show you. So, wow, yeah. Okay, oh, I'm glad I saw these. All right, 1102723, because I mentioned this at the beginning of the show that I had earrings. I think this was Charles, that I had earrings, peridot earrings, that would be amazing to go with that vermeil bracelet he got, and the ring, I think it was. Look at this. Look at these, in and out. So what we talk about by, what does that mean? Well, when you look at them, you have peridot going the outside. Look at that. Then on the inside, with the classic clip that they use, these are so desirable. I can gold plate them if you want them, but then remember, I can't take the gold plating off in between if you ever didn't want it. So I don't think the gold is noticed that much. I think, but it's up to you if you want to go that route. I love the in and out earrings. This, and I've never seen these done in a peridot like that. So this is a rare opportunity, and I have these priced to make it pretty much impossible to say no, because how about them for only, oh, why not, 59? There is, hold on. Well, what? Okay, yeah, okay. Wow, only $77. $77 for the pair of them. Okay, now I'm getting ready to show you, because I want to and didn't want to forget. Miss Gabby, I believe this originally was your question, maybe. Let's go ahead and let's see here. All right, let's pull this up. This is a sold as is, 111-4223, 111-4223, because a buyer, this is an estate and very, very rare. Someone may not want to lose any weight. Someone may want to keep it just as it is. We had a conversation weeks, months ago. Miss Barber, I think, was involved. I can't remember exactly, but the topic was, where are the green spinels? Is there such a thing as a green spinel? Well, I talked to you about them, but what I didn't tell you was that I have one. Yeah, I actually have a genuine green spinel tucked away a long time. And when we talk about green spinel, this is as green as they get. And in the world of spinel, that is very, very green. Look at that. Now, I only have the as is because there's only just some nicks on the facets that I was going to remove. But when am I going to? I have so many going tos. Look at this stone. You can see native cut because it's a little off center. This is an old stone. If someone wants to get something that you will not find pretty much anywhere, I don't know. I've never seen another one. I, of course, knew that it was something special, but then as time went on, I realized it was something even more special than I thought. Let me just do a little additional backlighting so you can see some of the additional green. There we go, in this. And that it is a true green and not just a green blue. So you're getting to see it backlighted so you can see really how clean it is. It's got one little inclusion towards the end Thank you, sir. And it's my favorite shape, a cushion. Look at the green to that. There is a little blue that you can catch at some particular angles, but in the world of spinel, that's a green spinel. Price on this, I don't even know how to price it. I wouldn't even be able to begin to. But as it is, I mean, if you wanted it recut or cleaned up, I'd have to charge for that. But as it is, I have not knowing the market, I don't even really want to give a price. I just would probably, the smart thing to do would be to keep it. But here we go. I'm going to make it so cheap anyway. Just here, $138. That's it, $138. I don't even know how much. That's less, of course. 100 a carat would be 156. So I don't know, 80, 90 a carat. I don't know, whatever that is. It's a cheap and an opportunity. All right, I have to show you this because it is actually really pretty. It is item number 860820. 860820. And it's goethite. We see and talk about goethite all the time. But look at how botryoidal this one is. Look at how pretty. Yes. Oh, yeah, okay. It is item 860. Oh no, excuse me, 960820. 960. Wait, 960820. And this, look at this. Look at all the different angles. See how that is so attractive. You can also turn it this way for display. Look at that. Look at that. For goethite, that has aesthetics. That has appeal. And here, you go, let me show you, Asif, the info. It's right here. Botryoidal Moroccan goethite. Look, I know exactly. It's from the four-man mine. Ratidia province or something like that. 4 by 3 inches, 530 grams. So that piece, being, of course, goethite is an iron oxide. So there's iron in there, but you know what? I'm going to test it in a minute. It's probably not even magnetic. And you see the price. You know what? I'm going to make that only $36. I'm going to make that only $36. Let's see. Just the name of the mine in there. Four-man mine. Or Ratidia province, something like that. Or they can find it. $36. That's a really, really cool piece. Okay, let me see if there's just one last. Oh yeah. One last item. Here's the last item. 111. 4423, 111, 4423. And, well, maybe there's just one item right there. This is the bargain that that you can't go wrong. It's a wonderful necklace. Look at this, even draped over the goethite. Look at the size of that tanzanite. A carat 46 tanzanite, modified Portuguese, silver chain with the real strong kind of chain. Look at that catch, good catch. And if we could just come in a little bit on the tanzanite so I can show off that cut. Look at that. That is a modified Portuguese. Look at the number of facets on that item. Price on this guy, well, I tell you what, I only have the one. Only have the one, and it is only, $77 for a carat 46 tanzanite. And the chain and the works. Wow. All right. Here it is. Last item of the show. without a doubt. 705-017. Sorry, Asif, on this. I had to get this in for a request. With Lacoochee River, Florida, agatized polished pear. Now, everybody, this is a old stock item, and I have had it tucked away for you, but I know some of you were looking for this. It came from the fella I personally knew. He had a grandfathered lease on a stretch of the river. He actually dove for many of these different pieces. Now this will come with the box with the label. This is a pair of them, 25 to 38 million years ago, 105 grams. Florida, there was no Florida. Florida was completely underwater, and it formed its coral reefs, right? And then as the seas receded with the polar ice caps developing, it allowed Florida to come up out of the sea, so to speak. Then as the rivers cut through the overlying sand, the sand over the millions of years provided the silica to come down, leach down into the corals, replace them molecularly, and agatize them into, look at this. This looks like, look at that. That looks like a piece of coral fresh out of the ocean 25 to 35 million years ago. And look at that. Look at that. Who would know by looking at that when you cut it open, look at that. And so both sides polished on a flat lap. Possible chalcedony. Take a fluorescent light to it. Look at this material. This can go in, because I know I had them, can go in an aquarium, a great gift on stands. This is part of the United States history for minerals. Beautiful. Price on this guy? Wow. This material has gone way up over the years, and I am going to make that pair. Both of those only, I don't know, let's just make them only $58. Last item of the show. I'll be right back with a trivia. Okay, this is something a little different, but necessary as part of our ongoing fun. This, instead of having to answer trivia questions, I have 3 different specimens, all formed differently, and each is extremely unique in its own right and in its own place in the geological tree of life. All right, so your job is to tell me what is this. The first one, number 1. I'm going to spin this around for you. What is this? And then you can make your assessment as to what it is. Not what you think it is, because I know you say it with confidence. I know you'll know it. What is this? Okay, that's item number 1. What is this? Item number 2. Item number 2. What is this? In other words, you don't have to tell me where it's from, but if you want to add that, and you might become a teacher's pet if you get it right. But yeah, add the origin if you think you might know. So that's specimen number 2. Answer that one. And specimen number 3. What is this? You can see the ends, the back side. There you go. Okay. Wow, all right, how fun is that? So, in that case, you can rewind the specimens just, back and forth. None of those specimens was shown in the show, so there you go. No. I hope you had fun. I was just going through and realized there is several really cool things that I did not only get a chance to show you, but kind of just, I don't know, with everything, I didn't get to show them to you, and I wish I could right now. I just wish I had, another, 10 or 12 hours. But a little more time, always. But it would be that way. I used to do actually the longest show here at Gem Shopping because of all of your interest in the show. We did the 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday nights or Monday mornings for 9 years, and really built a great following. As many of you, I think, or at least some of you, knew me from then here at Gem Shopping. We would carry an audience enough that some shows we'd go from 3 a.m. and I would talk all the way till noon, 9 hours, nonstop. Not only did we have the product, but I had the passion and the voice to pull it off and go that long because I love talking and sharing about gems and minerals with all of you. So keep that passion going in me. Keep that passion burning within yourself. Keep fanning the flames by getting those new pieces. And then learn the knowledge to go with them. Not just what I say. Go to your book. Look up the whole formula. Start understanding it, because I think I've helped a lot of you with your high school chemistry and understanding minerals. I mean, when I think about just the little differences an element can make in an entire piece, it's pretty astounding. Al2O3, aluminum oxide, what we know as emery boards, whatnot, is corundum. Corundum is ruby and sapphire, right? Al2O3. Substitute just the Al, which is the aluminum part, with Fe, iron, Fe2O3. And you go from corundum, which is ruby and sapphire, to hematite. Now, I don't want to denigrate hematite, but it is a lower animal on the gemstone tree of value. But I tell you what, in this world, we could have probably lived without Al2O3, but we wouldn't have been able to live without Fe2O3. So remember that. Rubies and sapphires, they're pretty to look at, but they don't do us much else in life. Hematite, supplying 70% of the world's iron, yeah, that's a little important. So, it's not the big, beautiful peacock or the fancy rooster in the barnyard that runs the farm. It's the ugly duckling. It's the underweight pig. It's the overlooked animal that nobody and the entire world can't live without. Hematite, the world's source for iron. With no iron, guess what? There'd be no Iron Age. It'd be straight back to the Stone Age. Fred Flintstone, yeah? Of course, now for people that love rocks, that may be not bad, and sometimes those brontosaurus burgers look pretty good. You know what I'm talking about. So don't overlook those botryoidal goethites, iron oxide, heavy. Just because it's not sparkly and shiny, but its function and what it supplies the world, because it's another iron ore, is way more valuable than so many other things. Just a little different way to tilt your head and look at the mineral world a little differently. Yeah. Had a lot of fun. Always do. And, you know, I wish there was Shawn's Adventure Hour, because I would truly tell the good, bad, and the ugly of my adventures across this planet, from gem hunting to going down in the mines to stumbling down the mine shafts. And I love to recount those memories. Yeah. And for those of you who haven't recently heard or heard at all, my Galena geode tale. Yeah, you like that segue from mining, from Galena, a low, aesthetically lead ore in a geode? Wow, never seen that before. I think I'll take all that ye have. The rest of the story will be next week. God bless. Thank you all so much. Thank you for the support of the show. Please continue on so that I may continue on and move forward through the barnyard of life. Take care.